In today's not so boring science news, but rather the silly science news, I came across this post on the website formerly known as Twitter, where the claim was made that U.S. federal funding was used to pay for a study of spraying alcoholic rats with bobcat urine. Uh, I thought that this couldn't possibly be true. This seemed rather silly. So I did what any good scientist would do, and I looked it up in Google Scholar. And the truth is, much better. Not only was there an NIH grant to study what happens when you spray alcoholic rats with bobcat urine, there was an even better one. Where did it go? Lost my. Let's get it here. Um, this treasure was what I found more interesting in Google Scholar when I searched. Uh, the title is immediately self evident. Um, one can summarize this article as what happens if you get rats hooked on blow and then spray bobcat piss on them. And do they turn more to drugs if they're stressed out? Now, I'm a physical chemist, and I'll be the first to admit that biology and animal behavior science is far, far, far out of my comfort zone. But I'm really uncertain as to exactly what the point of all of this is. Um, they're studying traumatic stress disorder. Um, I find it difficult to understand. Like I said, I read this article and I'm not really 100% sure exactly what they're trying to accomplish, but apparently they're trying to model PTSD by stressing rats out in various ways, getting them hooked on drugs or alcohol, and then stressing them more and seeing if that makes them turn more to alcohol and drug abuse. Now, while I understand the value of studying PTSD and things like that, at least in the abstract, I'm not really certain how laboratory rats translate well to PTSD in humans. And there is one other thing that's particularly glorious about this article, and this is the figure here, where they describe the timeline. Um, the little all rats acquired cocaine operant conditioning. In other words, we hooked them on blow. Then when they went aversion conditioning, we tortured them with bobcat urine and see how much they turn to drugs. But there's particularly good part of this figure, which is here, is that they sorted the mice by rats by gender. Then they implanted some sort of catheter into the rats, not like that stretches them out, allowed them to recover from getting plumbing inserted into their backs, hooked them on drugs, and then sprayed them with piss and see if that made them turn to drugs more or not. And one has to give and then they, killed and dissected them to see what happened. One has to give the authors of this paper substantial amount of credit because the artist took the time to draw a miniature rat guillotine in a published paper. And that's just the very best part of the paper of all of them is the miniature rat guillotine. Let's take a close look at the miniature rat guillotine before we close for today. I did forget the best part of this paper. This paper and study was funded by not one, but two NIH grants and a grant from the U.S. Veterans Administration. This, my friends, is your taxpayer dollars at highly effective work.